Beautiful vision here. Kyrie Irving knows exactly what Claxton's going to do. Nice little bounce pass, back cut, throw down. And we've seen a lot of that, get an opportunity to watch them throughout the course of training camp and just how they can work the pick and roll and work the versatility of Claxton where he can play.
That turned over as Durant tried to squeeze it into Simmons. Here's Melton forcing his way in. Irving and Claxton said no. Irving, great look. Simmons the flush in transition. Maxey down the other end, got the whistle and works his way to the line.
Run, run, run. And everyone's staying wide. You got shooters out of the corner with Joe Harris and Kevin Durant keeping some of the defense attached, and Simmons with an easy look on the inside from Irving. And that's a big part. You look at this lineup and the optionality Steve Nash has with who he can use where, but the size of Ben Simmons, who's playing the one now, point forward, whatever you want to call him, there's also the opportunity to put him at the 5, and I think we'll continue to see how that balance and the mix and match of the different lineups and different rotations and where they utilize Simmons to his strengths.
And Steve Nash has talked so much about his love of Ben Simmons' game. Talks about what a dynamic, unique talent he is, but Sarah, also the way he complements the pieces the Nets already have. Maybe there are certain teams, if you don't have the right auxiliary parts offensively, where Ben isn't a perfect fit, but on this team, with the players around him, I think if you get peak Ben Simmons, he fits like a glove.
And that's what you hope for, and we're all knocking on wood, but a lot of shooting top to bottom down this roster.
Simmons trying to squeeze it in that time, turned it over. DeAnthony Melton, his first year with Philadelphia. Here is Maxey, not that time. Durant comes up with a rebound. Nets looking to push. Irving feeds Claxton to the rim. Well, the Nets have gone 4 for 4 on dunks thus far. 0 for 3 elsewhere on the floor. Irving with 3 early assists. Here's Harris, the mismatch, and Tobias able to finish it.
The opportunity to run, the opportunity to get some early offense. And you said it earlier, Philadelphia playing without Joel Embiid, James Harden, PJ Tucker. An important pickup. I mean, the 76ers had such an offseason of which they were able to fortify so many areas of need and a lot to be excited about in Philadelphia because of that. PJ Tucker in particular, what he brings to the table for this group that they need. We see DeAnthony Melton out here, traded for Danny Green, who of course rehabbing that knee, and there's a lot of pieces here that you can understand why fans in Philadelphia are very excited about what this group can do this season.
Simmons, excellent look. O'Neal just checked in and knocks down the 3. Just an effortless cross-court pass from Simmons, and O'Neal brings exactly that.
When we talk about shooting, Royce O'Neal, one of those individuals.
Royce O'Neal, we can also thank for maybe the greatest media, I don't want to say rant, but dialogue in the history of our profession, courtesy of Brian Windhorst. Here's Thibault. Simmons got back to it and knocked it off of Thibault. It'll be Brooklyn basketball.
Nice look here, a little poke from behind as Thibault's on the run. Goes off his foot. And that's the area, you know, with Ben Simmons, you talk about the time spent off coming also back from a major back surgery, how he will look, how he'll be able to move on the defensive end, something to keep an eye on.
Easy money there for Kevin Durant on the board with the jump shot. Melton, good setup. Thibault gets fouled by Durant on the closeout. It'll stay here with Philadelphia. And one of the things that Durant said, talking about some of these new acquisitions that the Nets have, one of the things he said is even when he had asked for a trade in the offseason, he was noticing what Sean Marks and the Nets were doing and saying, I like that move, I like that move, I like this roster. It was part of what made him feel comfortable eventually rescinding that and staying with the Nets. You know, one of those pieces we will not see for a little bit of time, and that's T.J. Warren. somebody who could, if healthy, really provide a big scoring punch off the bench for Brooklyn.
And that's the hope. And again, it's the anticipation considering that he's essentially been off for 2 seasons. Coming back from that foot surgery, he's been doing some shooting and trying to work his way back. But he looks anything like we talk a lot about the bubble and the showing that he had in the bubble. Of course, he was putting up some monster numbers, but even the seasons prior, not just with Indiana, but what he was doing in Phoenix and how he could come in and school and relieve some of that pressure off other individuals. And I think that's the areas that were lacking last season for the Nets. There's a lot of things to point to, but just the responsibility of finding area prior, not just with Indiana, but what he was doing in Phoenix and how he could come in and school and relieve some of that pressure off other individuals. And I think that's the areas that were lacking last season for the Nets. There's a lot of things to point to, but just the responsibility of finding areas and ways to score. And right now, with this healthy roster, not a problem to this point.
Irving could get the jumper to go. Here is Melton pushing pace for Philadelphia. Maxey, meanwhile, has 12 in the quarter. A lot of buzz about him going into this season in Philadelphia as Irving dribbled it off his foot out of bounds. Sixers basketball. Timeout on the floor. Early action for Simmons, Irving, and Durant in the books.